Thank you so much. Well, I envy all these people here that could speak off the cuff. I am not one of them, so pardon my notes. I'm very honored to be here tonight. First of all, I'm honored to see all of you, and what a big room so filled for this great cause, a safe haven. And I especially love the name of this event, Connect, Inspire, Grow. Because actually this has been my motto for as long as I can remember. And I don't think that any of us as human beings can succeed without living and believing in this dream of helping others and giving back. And I'm also thrilled to be speaking alongside Sherman and Jeff tonight, who I know both have fabulous stories, and I can't wait to hear about them. So I thought to myself, well, what can I share that's going to be informative, maybe inspiring, and maybe something that you can learn from? And I realized that the only thing that I really have to share is my life story. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself. Thank you, Mother. I grew up in Dupo, Illinois. I don't know if anybody's familiar with this small town in southern Illinois, but it's a population of 3,000 people. And it's a small town, and it had even smaller-minded people. My parents divorced when I was 2, but I was very fortunate to be cared for by an amazing African-American woman, Mary Johnson. She became like a second mother to me. And in hindsight, her life has been what's inspired me the most. It was the 50s, and racial inequality was rampant, especially in small towns like mine. I was incensed at many of the things I saw there from a very early age. Mary and Jim Johnson were such hard workers. They had to be to survive, and I watched Jim as he toiled on the railroad by day and picked up trash at night. Mary raised me, no easy task there, and worked as a cook at the YMCA. Together they had a garden that fed a lot of the people in the town and that they lived in, which was near mine. Jim also raised pigs, and I'll never forget this story that he told me. He sold the pigs in St. Louis, but knew that as a black man he couldn't get as much for his loads. So he found a wino, gave him a bottle, and voila, Jim became the hired hand, and the wino driving the truck was the boss, therefore ensuring a bigger paycheck. I learned a lot of life lessons growing up with the Johnsons. First and foremost was to never give up. Even though life seemed unjustly hard for them, they were church-going, hard-working, honest men and women who never let life's hard knocks change them into someone else. I never heard them say a bad thing about another human being, even though they had many reasons to do otherwise. Their hard-fought lives taught me much about who I wanted to be. So I began modeling at age 13. I was anxious to get out of the house. I had an alcoholic stepfather, so I felt that this could be the perfect exit strategy. I graduated as valedictorian, and even though I received a full scholarship to St. Louis University, I knew I couldn't continue along this path. I'd burned myself out at school, being a typical overachiever, overdoer, which is common among children with an alcoholic parent. But as luck would have it, the St. Louis Playboy Club had just opened, and so a girlfriend suggested I go for an interview. I was hired, and shortly after, I was approached to appear in a Best Bunnies pictorial for the magazine. Apparently, it was well received because I was then contacted by the Chicago Club, the hub of the organization, asking if I would be interested in transferring here. They sure didn't have to ask me twice, since I was also invited to move into the famous Playboy Mansion on State Street while Hef was in residence. So I packed up my little MGB and flew up 55 towards the Emerald City, Chicago. And as soon as I rang the doorbell at 1340 North State Street and the butler answered, I knew I was home. So Hef was the perfect gentleman, and the girls all adored him, and actually still do to this day. We would receive handwritten notes under our doors politely inviting us to share his birthday or join him and his guests like the Rolling Stones for a party. It was truly party central, and I was right there in the middle of it during the halcyon days of Playboy. I thrived at the club and quickly became a favorite of the art directors who all lunched there. They used me for a lot of their advertising campaigns, including one memorable key sale promotion that featured life-size posters of me in all the Playboy clubs in the world. I eventually became the December 1979 centerfold, which at that time was the largest issue they ever had. I've appeared on 8 covers, 2 US and 6 international. But by this time, I was looking to spread my wings further. I was encouraged by my Playboy friends to continue my modeling, which I had been doing since an early age, so I took their advice, signing with multiple agencies in Chicago and in New York. I filmed a role with Tom Cruise in Risky Business. I had a billboard in Times Square. I modeled in Europe, filming a commercial inside an active volcano. And I did a fashion spread for Spanish Vogue in Barcelona. I also spent a delightful afternoon with the legendary surrealist artist Salvador Dali and his wife in their home in Spain, and true to his nature, the afternoon was quite surreal. After a few years of modeling, I had the opportunity to move in a different direction and was offered the job as fashion director for today's Chicago Woman magazine, which I know you're all aware of. Well, when they started their online edition, I was asked to write a blog for it. I had no clue what a blog was, but I thought, what the hell, I can write, so I'll just write what I know. So I started covering parties I attended, fashions I liked, trends I thought were cool, and one day while I was walking down the street, a woman came up to me and said, "Look, Candace, I'm wearing that nail polish you said you liked." And I thought, oh my God, somebody's reading what I'm actually writing. And I was hooked. So when I left TCW, I realized the only thing I missed was having a blog. So with the help of my friend Rhonda Sanderson, who's here tonight, I started my own, candidcandace.com, which I hope you're all reading. It was born in 2008, and by now I've developed a loyal fan base. I was also one of the first people invited to have a blog on Chicago Now, which is one of the largest blogging platforms in the country. And because of this affiliation, I was offered my own social column, Candid Candace, which appears weekly in the Chicago Tribune on Sunday and has the largest circulation, 750,000, of any other newspaper in town. And I hope you're all reading this too. A short while later, a friend approached me about doing my own internet show for the then newly created Watch312.com. Having a show was the next logical step after my column, so I jumped at the chance, especially given the fact that I could create the content I wanted. I've had the opportunity to interview some of the world's biggest stars, including Al Pacino, John Bon Jovi, CeeLo Green, Aretha Franklin, Christopher Walken, so many more. My shows won a Telly Award as well as a nomination for a Chicago Innovation Award. I've been very lucky to have had great advice and mentorship along the way. So now I want to share some tips that have helped me and that I hope will help you too. Number one, first and foremost, stay true to yourself. Don't try to be someone you're not. Your biggest asset is you. No one looks like you, thinks like you, or acts like you. Use this to brand yourself in your chosen field. My content manager at Chicago Now always tells his writers, don't worry if 100 people have written about the same story. No one will see it or write about it the way that you will. Number two, killing time murders opportunities, so be mindful of your minutes. Number three, while you're saying it can't be done, someone else is doing it. Don't lose an opportunity by dragging your heels. React and trust your instincts. Number four, use rejection as a learning tool. Make it your friend. I was turned down by more modeling agencies than I could remember, but I eventually found people who believed in me. Don't give up. I remember the Ford agency specifically turned me down as a model because the length from my knee to my ankle was too short. What the hell it means? I don't even know what they meant. Anyway, fast forward to now, and who do you think my agent is? It's Ford. Examine your competition and learn from their successes or failures. And I know all of you already do this, but this is so key. Use social media always in all ways. If you want to impress a client, find his Twitter handle, retweet anything relevant. Get on the radar of people, clients, advertisers who you want to notice you, but don't be a stalker. You will know how much is enough. Don't shrink to make people feel bigger. By letting your own light shine, you guide the way for others. And I know this has been said before, but I can't express how important this is. Visualize yourself in the position you hope to be. You can't achieve what you don't perceive. And if you are successful, you'll win false friends and true enemies. So be prepared for this, but succeed anyway. And don't ruin your reputation before you have one. This means obviously posting on Facebook photos you wouldn't want your mom to see. And if you're satisfied with your work or where you're at in the world, you won't achieve another thing. Never be satisfied. And no matter what your age, there are younger kids looking up to you. Don't forget it and don't disappoint them. Now tomorrow night, I'm going to have the opportunity to do a stand-up routine at the Royal George Theater to benefit a favorite charity of mine, Bare Necessities. Now I'm pretty fearless, but this one has my knees knocking. But you know what? I'm looking forward to this chance to step out of my comfort zone and try something new. And this is my number one piece of advice for all of you. You have to keep moving forward to succeed. You can't let fear be a roadblock. Open the doors in front of you and take a leap of faith. You never know how far you can fly until you spread your wings. So connect, inspire, and grow.